Okay, good morning, everybody. It's 1 o'clock in our new standard time versus daylight time world. I hope it's 1 o'clock. And it's time for our weekly review of the beginning bridge topics that we've covered in the past week. This past week was week 6 of our 10-week beginning bridge sessions. And this week, our main topics of coverage were scoring and preemptive bidding. And we're going to get to those in just a few minutes. But Richard, I saw you sent me a message. Okay, good, Richard. I'm glad to hear that. But first of all, we're going to start out with a review of no Trump bidding and responses, because that was what we covered week before last. That's very important part of bidding, comes up all the time, and it is a little bit more complex. So I just want to give you an extra chance to take a look at it. So let's move over and take a look at that. Well, where did it go? It was here just a few minutes ago. This is what I do when I get ready in advance for something. It just disappears afterwards. So, okay, here's the one that we want to look at. All right. This is opening and responding in no Trump. This is just a reminder of what we discussed last week. So, our first thing, which we've known since second day of class, is that we have three options of bids we can make at the one level. And we have three levels of priority for making those three types of bids. We've got no Trump, opening one of a major, and opening one of a minor. Our preference is to open one of a one of a no Trump if we can. Second is to open one of a major if we have 5 cards in the suit. And the last option is to open one of a minor. So since opening no Trump is our first option of what to do when we can do it, we need to make sure we understand what opening one no Trump means. And it's a very specific set of standards that we need to have to open one no Trump. That is, we need to have 15 to 17 valuation points, and we need to have a balanced hand, which is no more than one doubleton, which will also mean no more than one 5-card suit. So no more than one 5-card suit, no more than one doubleton, balanced hand. That means we've got at least 3 cards in every suit, except maybe a doubleton in one suit. And that is the reason that opening one no Trump is our highest priority to open if we can, because it describes your hand in a very narrow range. You guys have noticed in all our bidding options, it's rare where we can describe our hand in one bid. And when we can do that, that's usually our first option of what to do. It's the same thing with opening at the one level when no Trump is our first choice of what to do. I think I should point out that there are other kind of like opening no Trump bids. The first one is if you don't have 15 to 17 points, but you have the balanced hand, that is the 12 to 14 point range. And you can open one of something and then bid one no Trump. We've already seen that. You might open one heart and your partner might bid one spade, and you might say one no Trump to say, partner, I can't rebid my hearts, I can't support your spades, and I have an overall balanced hand. I don't have another suit to bid. The same thing is true if you have too much to open one no Trump. That's if you have 18 or 19 points. You can't open one no Trump, but you can open one of something and then bid 2 no Trump. That would be an example like we open one heart, our partner bids one spade, we bid 2 no trump. That's too much to have opened 1 no trump. So you open 1 of something and then you jump to 2 no trump. Or the final option, kind of an opening no trump bid, is when you have 20 or 21 points, just short of that really strong 2 club opening bid that we've talked about, that we don't really cover in here because it doesn't happen that much. But the 20 or 21 point no trump hand does happen. If you have 20 or 21 points, the same shape for a no trump hand, you can open it 2 no trump to start. And then your partner does all the same things we're about to talk about, Stayman, transfers, but you just need fewer points to do them, because instead of having around 16 points, 15 to 17 for a regular no trump, they've got 20 or 21 points. Now, rather than needing like 8 points to respond, you only need to have about 4 or 5 points to respond. So that's the difference. We've talked about the fact that if you open 1 no trump, if your partner has opened 1 no trump, as the responder, you know everything about your partner's hand. So you are the captain of this ship. You're in charge of guiding everything. And as the responder, if you have 10 or more points, you know immediately that you want to go to game. If you have 0 to 7 points, you know immediately that you do not want to go to game. You don't have enough points to do it. And if you have 8 or 9 points, then you're in the invitational range. So you'll always do what you're going to do, bid, transfer or bid Stayman, and then you will bid a bid below game level. If you have game, you'll bid it next, but if you don't have game at all, you'll pass. But if you're in the invitational, you will bid something below game, usually either no trump or rebidding your suit. We talked about the fact that there are basically 2 different things that you can do with over a no trump. The first thing is transfers, and that's what we do if we have at least 5 of a major suit. We always transfer first. We automatically do that. The second thing is if we don't have 5 of a major, we're still looking for a major. If we have 4, we'll use the Stayman convention, which is a 2 club bid that asks the question, do you have 4 of a major suit? I do. I want to know if you do. So those are the 2 things, transfer or Stayman. So let's drop down here to the grid at the bottom of this handout, which you've all gotten the handout, and just go over this because these are all the bids you can make. If you have 6 or more cards in a major suit, 6 or more cards in a major suit, and you've got 0 to 7 points, you're going to transfer your partner into the major suit, and then you are going to pass. So 1 no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades, pass. I'm done. Transfer and drop. If you've got 8 or 9 points, you've got the invitational hand. Then you're going to transfer and raise. So it'll be 1 no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades, 3 spades. That says I've got 6 cards. I've got the invitational hand. If you've got 10 or more points, you want to transfer and then bid game. So that will be 1 no trump, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 4 hearts. I had 6 and I've got 10 points. If you only have 5, the only difference is that rather than bidding again in the game, in the suit, you'll bid in no trump next. Transferring promises 5. Transferring and bidding the suit again promises 6. Transferring and bidding no trump says 5 and only 5. So with 5 cards, with 0 to 7 points, you transfer and then pass. Drop in there. With 8 or 9 points, you transfer and then bid 2 no trump. And with 10 or more points, you transfer and then bid the game, 3 no trump. When you only have 4 cards in a major suit, we don't do anything if we have 0 to 7, because the stamen, which is what this is, when you have 4 cards in a major, not 5 or 6, when you have 4 only, you have to ask a question, and partner has too many possibilities of response. You could find yourself winding up at the 3 level, which is too high for not knowing where you belong. You know where you belong when you transfer. You belong probably in the major suit. With 4 cards, there's too many options. So unless you have 8 points, you don't bid stamen. So 0 to 7, you're just going to pass. But with 8 or 9 points, you'll bid stamen. Also with 10 points, you'll bid stamen. You'll ask the question, partner, I have a 4-card major suit. Do you have a 4-card major suit? And then depending on what partner says, if partner bids your suit, with 8 or 9, you will raise the suit. With 10 or more, you'll go to game in that suit. If partner does not bid your suit, or if partner says, I do not have a 4-card major suit, then with 8 or 9 points, you'll bid no trump, 2 no trump. With 10 or more points, you'll bid 3 no trump. If you do not have at least 4 of a major suit, so you've got some other kinds of suits, but no 4-card major suit. With 0 to 7, you just pass. With 8 or 9, you bid 2 no trump. With 10 or more, you bid 3 no trump. So let's look some bidding examples and see if all this makes sense. Here's our first bidding example. Partner has bid 1 no trump. We bid 2 hearts. That transfers to spades. So partner bids 2 spades. After he bids 2 spades, we bid 4 spades. Now, what would that mean to you? Well, that should be game going, so 10 points, plus you had 6 spades, not 5 spades to start. If it were 5 spades, you would have bid 3 no trump. Okay, let's look at another one. Here we have bidding sequence, 1 no trump, 2 diamonds, transfer to hearts, 2 hearts, just accepted the transfer, 3 no trump. This says, I've got 10 points, I'm going to game, but I only had 5 hearts. So I'm going to stop at 3 no trump. Notice that partner, if partner has at least 3 hearts, he knows he can put that with your 5 hearts, and then he could bid 4 hearts. But he doesn't. Apparently he just had 2 hearts, so he passes here. Let's look at this one. 1 no trump, 2 hearts, that's a transfer to spades. Partner bids 2 spades as he should, and then we pass. That has to be that transfer and drop. I have less than 8 points. I've got up to 7 points here, but I do not have enough even for a part score. So I just transferred you into spades, because rather than passing right here and letting you play 1 no trump, you should be able to do a little bit better in 2 spades, should be a little bit safer. They can't run along club, diamond, or heart suit. So you are up 1 level, but it should be worth 1 extra trick to be able not to have to worry about the opponents running the suit. Let's look at this sequence. 1 no trump, 2 diamonds, that's a transfer to hearts, so partner bids 2 hearts. Then I say 3 hearts. When I rebid the suit, that means I had 6, not 5, right? 2 diamonds promised 5. 3 hearts now says, okay, I like that suit. I had 6. But it also says I have less than a game. 6 in the suit, but 8 or 9 points. So 3 hearts. Partner then bids 4 hearts. That tells us 2 things about his hand. Number 1, he has 2 hearts. We already knew that because he bid no trump. But he's also got 17 points. So I invited him to game by bidding the 3 hearts. I said, partner, I don't have quite enough to go on my own. And his 4-part bid says, okay, partner, I do. I've got the 17, not the 15. Or I've got 16 and I like the 16. Here's another set. 1 no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades, 3 no trump, 4 spades. So 2 hearts transferring to spades. He bids 2 spades. 3 no trump. That bid says, first, I had 5 hearts and only 5 hearts because I didn't, spades, because I didn't bid spades again. Secondly, though, I've got 10 points. So now we know I've got 5 spades and 10 points because I bid a game, forced the game. Then partner, who we said isn't allowed to make any decisions, because I'm the captain of the ship, he bids 4 spades. Well, the reason he can do that is because I've already given him the information he needed. I said, I've got 5 spades and 10 points, and he has at least 3 spades. That's what this means. He doesn't have 2 spades. If he had 2 spades and I just have 5, he'll leave it alone. He'll pass. But if he has 3 or more spades, he'll correct my information to 4 spades. He's still not really making any decisions on his own. He's just going with what I'm telling him about where we need to be. All right, let's look at this one now. Partner opens 1 no trump, and I bid 2 clubs. Well, 2 clubs is not a transfer. 2 clubs is Stayman. Stayman asks the question. The 2 club bid asks the question. It says, partner, I've got a 4-card major. Do you have a 4-card major? And another thing we know is I've got at least an invitational hand. I've got 8 points or more. I can't be doing the transfer and drop kind of thing we do for transfers. If I'm going to ask the question, there's too many answers out there. So I have to have 8 points to ask the question. So I ask the question, do you have a 4-card major? Partner says 2 diamonds. That answer means no, I do not have a 4-card major. So my next bid is either 2 no trump with 8 or 9 points, 3 no trump with 10 or more points. One of those 2. I either show him the invitational hand or I show him the 3 no trump hand. Here's another one. 1 no trump, 2 clubs. Again, I'm asking the question. So 8 points and a 4-card major suit. Partner says this time, says yes, I have a 4-card major suit. He bids 2 hearts. So he's promising 4 hearts. He also may have 4 spades. That's not usual, but it could be because 2 hearts does not deny 4 spades. It just promises 4 hearts. So after I hear 2 hearts, I got some choices, and here's my choices. If hearts is my suit, if that was it, I'm good. Hearts is it. You picked the right suit, partner. I bid 3 hearts with invitational, and I bid 4 hearts if I've got 10 or more. If 2 hearts is not my suit, therefore spades was my suit, but 2 hearts is not my suit, then I either bid 2 no trump with 8 or 9, 3 no trump with 10 or more. I hope this is starting now kind of to make sense because I always bid below game with the invitational. I bid game with the 10 or more. If he hit my suit, I bid the suit. If he didn't bid my suit, I bid no trump. We're okay either way. And here is the last example. Partner has opened one no trump. I bid 2 clubs, Stayman, 8 points, asking the question, do you have a 4-card major? He answers, he says, yes, I do. I have 4 hearts, and I may have 4 spades. So I bid 3 no trump. Okay, partner, that wasn't my suit. Spades was my suit. Had to have one of them. If hearts is not it, spades is it. So I bid 3 no trump. I've got 10 points or more, and I had 4 spades. Partner then bids 4 spades on his own. And that's a situation where he had both hearts and spades. So that's how you take care of the fact that 2 hearts does not promise spades, but it might be spades. If hearts is not partner's suit, then spades was, and you know it, and then you can correct to 4 spades. All right, so I hope that just reviewing this has helped a little bit clear it up in your mind what you can do. The whole factors we're always looking for in responding to no trump is, can we find a major suit fit, and do we belong below game, invitational game, or game? Those are the factors we're looking at, and that's depending on what we have. That's why we make the bids we make as the captain of the ship. Okay, now that first part of our class, the first 5 weeks, all talked about bidding without the opponent's bidding. Okay, it talked about just me and my partner responding to each other, uninterfered with by these other people sitting at the table. They have kept quiet. Now we're moving into the phase of bridge, which really occurs more, but you have to understand the basics to get the second part. There usually is interference or other discussion by the other people at the table. They're not going to keep quiet. And if the other opponents are bidding and you're at the table, you're not going to keep quiet either. So we need to learn how to handle that situation. And that's what we call competitive bidding. It doesn't mean like you're competing for a prize. It means you're just all having conversations together at the same time. You're competing against each other for the contract. That's the competition that you're looking at, competing to get the contract, to get the bid. So when you are doing this, it's important to at least have a general idea about how the scoring works, because that's how we decide what some of our bids are. So I'm going to look briefly at duplicate scoring. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, do not panic, because you don't have to know how to do this. If you're playing bridge at the Bridge Center, I'm sure you've noticed the little handheld computers that sit on each table. Those keep score for you. You just put in what the bid was and what the result was, and that little computer gives you the score, and it sends the score into the central computer where everything is compiled. We don't have to add up anything or do anything. It's really easy. So you don't have to know this exact method, and you don't have to remember at all these numbers I'm telling you. The second way that you can do this, you don't have to know how to figure this out at all, is that when you were using the bidding cards, I should have grabbed set, but anyway, when you're using the bidding cards that are on the table, on the back, if you bid 4 hearts, you look at the back of the 4-heart bidding card, and it will tell you on there what the results are if you made 4 hearts, or if you made an extra 5 hearts or 6 hearts or 7 hearts, but the bid was 4 hearts. It'll tell you what the score was for each one of those. And it includes if you are vulnerable or not vulnerable, doubled or not doubled. It's all listed on the back of the scoring card. If you don't make your bid, you look at the back of the pass card. The pass card shows the penalty points that you get if you didn't, that the opponents get if you didn't make your bid. But so you don't have to know this, but I want you to have a general idea of it, to know how those scores are made, so that you'll have a general idea about why we make some of these competitive bids that we make. So the first thing that you need to know is there are 2 parts to every score. The first part is the trick score. There are certain scores that you get per trick, and it depends on whether you're bidding a minor suit, whether your contract is a major suit, or whether your contract is no trump. So those trick scores. And the second part is the bonus points that you get. So there's always two parts to it: trick score plus bonus score if you make your contract. Okay, so for trick scores, if you are not doubled for penalty, the double is that red X card that you've seen in the bidding boxes. It is a card for penalties. It says if you, in its original form, that putting that double card down said, I don't think you can make this contract. And if you don't make the contract, I'm going to get extra points if you go down. On the other hand, if you make the contract, you'll get extra points. So it's basically a way of the opponent saying, you have bid too high, and I'm going to penalize you for that. Because otherwise, if there were not that penalty card, you could just bid as high as you want. And if you didn't make it, you'd be down, but so what? It would always kind of be to your advantage to bid game, because sometimes you'd make it, and that would wipe out a lot of downs to do that. Well, the penalty card keeps that from happening. It makes you keep on your toes. It keeps you honest. You can't bid too high and just get by with it. That's what the penalty card is there. That's what the double means. So if you are not doubled, which is usually the situation, that's what we've been doing in here all the time. It's very rare, actually, for a contract to be doubled. So if you are not doubled, a diamond or a club is just worth 20 points per trick. Heart or spade contract is worth 30 points for trick. And no trump is a little bit different. It's 40 points for the first trick, and then 30 points for each succeeding trick. Now, we talked in the past about there are certain levels where you get your bonus points for game. Your bonus points for game. And where you get those bonus points, we know, is 3 no trump, 4 hearts or 4 spades, 5 clubs or 5 diamonds. The interesting thing about that is the way we get to those levels is those levels are all where you have 100 points in your trick scores. If you have bid a contract worth 100 points per trick score and you make it, you're going to get those bonus points. So clubs or diamonds are only 20 points each. You have to have 5. 5 times 20 is 100 to make your game bonus. That's why 5 clubs or 5 diamonds is that level that we have to get to. Hearts or spades, 30 points each. You have to have at least 4 of those, 120, because 3 times 30 is only 90. That's not quite enough. So 4 hearts or spades is at least 100. And that's why 4 hearts or spades is the game level at hearts or spades. At no trump, you get 40 for the first one, 30 for the second one, 30 for the third one. 40 plus 30 plus 30 is 100. That's why 3 no trump. 3 no trump is the game bonus in no trump. Okay. Now, what if you make more than your bid? So you bid 3 no trump, but you make 4 no trump. Well, we've already kind of talked about that. If you're not doubled, if they haven't tried to penalize you, which is usual, that's normal. If you aren't doubled, then you just get the trick value. Okay? Whether you're vulnerable or not vulnerable, we haven't talked about that. We're going to in just a minute. But no matter which you are, if you're not doubled, you're just playing a regular contract. If you bid 3 no trump and you make 4, you're going to get an additional 30 points, because that's the amount you get for each succeeding no trump trick. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, if you are doubled or redoubled, it makes a lot of difference look at the over tricks. If you were doubled and you're not vulnerable, you get 100 points. If you're vulnerable, you get 200 points per trick. If you're redoubled, which is a way of saying you doubled me, I think you're wrong. I'm sure I can make this contract, so I'm going to redouble your double. This rarely happens, but it could. If you're redoubled, it's 200 points per over trick and 400 points if you're vulnerable. Now, these don't come up very often. You don't need to remember them because, like I said, they'll be in the computer. You can look at the back of the card when that happens. The one you really just need to know is that when you are not doubled, when you're just bidding a regular contract, the trick score is what you get if you make over your contract that you bid. So if you bid 3 diamonds and make 4, you get 20 extra points. So that is the trick score. Then you have the bonus points. Now, if they have doubled you, you get either 50 or 100 points if you make your contract because they insulted you. This is the insult that you get. But this doesn't happen very much. So what usually happens is your bonus points are if you did not bid a game, whether you're vulnerable or not vulnerable, you get 50 points. So if you bid 2 diamonds and you made 2 diamonds, you will get your trick score. 2 times 20 is 40, plus the bonus point for part score. You did not bid a game, you bid part of a game. So that's called a part score. The part score here is 50. So 40 plus 50 is 90. That's what you would get for 2 diamonds, making 2, whether you were listed as vulnerable or not vulnerable. If you bid and make a game, if you're not vulnerable, you get 300 points. If you are vulnerable, you get 500 points. Now, this is where this not vulnerable thing comes in. Originally, not vulnerable meant you had not yet made a game. Vulnerable meant you had bid and made a game previously in that set of hands. That's what's vulnerable versus not vulnerable. If you're vulnerable, you get a lot more points. That's good. But you lose a lot more points if you go down. So if you've already made a game, you get more points for making another game, but you lose more points. That's why you're in a vulnerable position, because you're going to lose more points if you don't make your game. It's a little riskier to bid a game once you're in that vulnerable position. If you have not yet made a game in that set of hands, which used to be called a rubber and rubber bridge, but we don't need to worry about that. But if you did not make a game yet, you are not vulnerable. So there is no extra penalty. You just get 300 points if you go down. There's no extra penalty for going down. Now, when you were playing duplicate bridge and the boards that we use at the Bridge Center and the little game, the little practice hands that we use when we're playing in our class, we will just tell you whether or not you're vulnerable or not vulnerable. So you usually don't have to worry about this at all. It's just set. It's given to you on the hand. And when you play duplicate and you use the little trays of the hands that move from table to table, everybody does the same thing, different tables. It's just assigned. Everybody will be vulnerable. Everybody will be not vulnerable. Then one side will be vulnerable. Then the other side will be vulnerable. So it's just assigned to you. So you don't have to worry about knowing how the original vulnerable and not vulnerable came about. Just remember that vulnerable means what it says. You're getting extra points, but because you're getting extra points, you are also losing extra points if you don't make it. You will notice also that if you bid up to the 6 or 7 level, that's the small slam or the grand slam, you get not only the game bonus points, but you get either the bonus points for a small slam if you bid 6 or a grand slam if you bid 7. So look at this. If you're vulnerable and you bid a grand slam, you get 500 for the game bonus, 1,500 for the grand slam bonus. That's 2,000 points in addition to whatever your trick score was, which is going to be 7 times whatever you bid for the trick score. So that's a lot of points. That's why we push to bid slams is if we can, but it's unusual. You have to have at least 33 points to bid a small slam, 37 points to bid a grand slam. Just doesn't happen very much. So we don't cover it very much in beginning bridge. It's fun though, so you'll want to try it on your own while you're practicing. Now, if you don't make your bid, then the defenders are going to get some penalty points for you. You'll be penalized because you bid too high. So they get some points. So if they were not doubled, which remember, that's usual, is you're not doubled. If you're not doubled and you go down, each trick you go down is 50 if you're not vulnerable, 100 if you're vulnerable. That's where that vulnerability comes in. You're vulnerable, you lose more points if you go down. So if you weren't doubled, you just bid a regular contract and you go down 1, you lose 50 points. If you're doubled or redoubled, look at all these hundreds and 200s and 400s and 800s. It's a lot if you go down and you're doubled. The first trick is not too bad. It's just doubled what it was if you're not doubled. 50 points gets doubled to 100. 100 points gets doubled to 200. But if you lose more, the second and third are 200. Each succeeding is 300. So you can lose 800, 1,200, 1,400 points really quickly. But here's the one that I really want you to think about. If you have bid 2 diamonds and make it, you are going to get 2 times 20 is 40 plus 50 points. And so that is 90 points. 40 plus 50 is 90 points you would get if you bid and make 2 diamonds. Or let's say the opponents are bidding 2 diamonds and they are going to get 90 points if they make it. We might bid 2 hearts, knowing we can't really make 2 hearts. If we made 2 hearts, that would be 2 times 30, 60, plus 50 points would be 110. So if the opponents bid 2 diamonds and we bid 2 hearts over their 2 diamond bid, they're going to get 90 if they bid 2 diamonds and make it. We're going to get 110 if we bid 2 hearts and make it. But if we bid 2 hearts and don't make it, the opponents are going to get 50 points because we are down 1. But that just cost us 50 points. We're either going to get 120 ourselves, or we're going to lose 110 if they can make 2 diamonds, or we're going to lose 50 if we can't make 2 hearts. That's kind of the key ingredient of what you need to understand about all this scoring stuff. And that is that if I bid and make something, great. But if they bid and make something and I can lose less than they'll make, I come out ahead. So if they bid 2 diamonds and make it, they get 90. If I bid 2 hearts and go down, they get 50. It's better for me to bid too high and let them go get bonus points because I go down than it is to let them make their 2 diamond bid. This is why we're working back and forth then as we're having the bidding conversation. And this is what makes bridge so interesting, because if you can bid and make a game, that's great. But most of the time, a lot of the time, what we're doing in bridge, we're eking up a little bit by little bit to see, can we bid a little bit more than they do and keep them from making theirs while we don't go down too much. Now, if we go too crazy, if we are down, if they have bid 2 diamonds and are going to make it, and I bid two hearts and I go down one, good. If I bid two hearts and I go down two, that's 100. 2 times 50 is 100. Now I'm losing more than they would have gotten. So it's not worth it to me. So this is kind of what we're doing when we go back and forth in the way overall that the hands are scored in duplicate. When we're passing those trays from table to table, you just write down everyone's score of what they did on the hand, north, south, and east, west. However many people you scored better than, you get a point for that. However many you tied with, you get a half point. How many people beat you, you get nothing. So after all it's over, if a hand has been played 10 times, you might have beat everybody, you would have 9 points. You might have tied with everybody. Everybody then will have 5 points, so, or 4.5 points. So you're kind of trying to eke up. And when you do this, it doesn't make any difference if you beat somebody by 10 points or you beat somebody by 200 points. It's just the fact that you beat them in the actual score. If you beat them by 50 or 100 or 200, really doesn't make any difference because you're just going to get one overall point for beating them on that hand. All of this may not make a lot of sense to you right now because you're just starting out, but some of you probably are grasping it, and that's good. But if all of you can at least get the concept of this is why we're doing this bidding back and forth, it's just to see, can we go higher but not too high? And we're all making a bet about how high we're going to go. If we go too high, we may get really penalized because they may double us for penalty, which is, as you saw down here, goes up really quickly. So that's how the scoring works. So that brings us to our first, what we call competitive bid, and our competitive bidding box, and that is preemptive bidding. Preemptive bidding. Now, a preemptive strike, I know you've all heard of something like that. It means I'm going to get to you before you get to me. It means I'm going to kind of cut out all the other discussion and just preemptively go somewhere. That's what it means in bidding also. So preemptive bidding, the reason we do it, and what it means is we are just going to jump up to a level. We are not going to start out at bidding one of something, one club, one diamond, one heart, one spade, one no trump. All the other bids above one no trump, except for two clubs, which we know is a strong bid. All the other bids, two diamonds, two hearts, two spades, two no trump, three clubs, three diamonds, three hearts, three spades, three no trump, all the way up, are all preemptive bids. They all promise less than an opening hand and a certain number of cards in the suit. So it might be something like you would open 3 clubs, you would open 4 hearts, you would open 2 spades. Anything beyond the one level that's not 2 clubs, anything beyond the one level is a preemptive bid describing your hand. Now, why would we jump up there? Well, the reason we do is, first of all, it can describe your hand in one bid. And as you guys know, we like to do that if we can. It describes our hand in one bid. So it's constructive. It gives our partner information about our hand. The second thing it does is destructive. It takes up room, making it harder for the opponents to bid, making it harder for them to find whatever fit they might have and where they might belong. We've taken up bidding room for them. So what it means is, what this bid actually means when we make it is, the first thing is when we bid one of these bids above one no trump, other than 2 clubs. So when we bid above 2 clubs, 2 diamonds on it, excuse me, means less than an opening hand. So maybe 5 to 8 high card points and length. You give yourself length points for any cards you have over 5 in a suit. So that's 1. You do not have an opening hand. If you did, you would have bid at the 1 level. Number 2, a solid long suit. And to be a good suit, you have to have 2 of the top 3 honors or 3 of the top 5 honors. The honors are ace, king, queen, jack, plus the 10. Ace, king, queen, jack, 10. The top 5 cards in a suit. So you've got 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5. You have a good suit. You don't have a long suit headed by the jack. Ordinarily, when we've talked about opening suits, like opening a heart or a spade, we don't care how good the suit is. But if you're going to choose to bid this suit at a high level, you need to have a good suit. So that's 2 things, less than an opening hand and a good suit. 2 other things that you should think about. You've got more high card points in the suit than are outside the suit. So you really don't have a lot of other defensive use to this hand. All you've got is the good suit. So you want to have no more than 1 outside king or ace. And if you follow all the other rules, less than an opening hand and a good solid suit, you generally can't have more points outside. Otherwise, you would be bidding 1 of something. But that is something you need to consider. And then the last thing is you prefer no outside 4-card major. So if you've got a long diamond suit and 4 hearts, you usually don't preempt. You usually either pass or bid 1, depending on what the situation is. Okay, so let's look at what the bids actually are then. That's what they mean. So if you bid 6, have 6 cards in a suit, except for clubs, you open at the 2 level. So if you have 6 in a suit, it's a good suit, 2 of the top 3, 3 of the top 5. And if you add everything in your hand up, you are less than an opening hand, less than 13 points, you will bid 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades. That usually means you've got 4 or 5 tricks in your hand. That's what your partner can kind of think of, 4 or 5 tricks in your hand. If you've got 7 in a suit, you open at the 3 level. So if you open 3 clubs, 3 diamonds, 3 hearts, 3 spades, it promises 7 cards, a good suit, and less than opening hand. If you've got the rare occasion where you have 8 in a suit, you open at the 4 level. So 4 clubs, 4 diamonds, 4 hearts, or 4 spades. Now, if you have 9 in a suit, which I have had 1 time in my life, you don't open 5, you just open at 4. So it's really 8 or more. So, but you're never going to get it, or rarely will you get it. Okay, so let's think then, what should partner do? It's kind of easy for you to decide whether you want to preempt, because really it's just you've got a long suit, you don't have opening hand, this is a good suit, 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5, you just open it either 2 level or 3 level or even 4 level if that's the appropriate thing. Okay, once you have done that, then partner needs to decide what to do. Well, usually what partner is going to do is pass. You're just going to pass. You have already taken up bidding space, which you were doing mainly to get the opponents in a problem, but it also takes up bidding space for your partner. So it's the double-edged sword. So if you have made a preemptive bid, you and your partner don't have a lot of room to mess around. That's why that needs to be a good suit. It needs to be one that your partner is not likely to have another equally good suit. So your partner is usually just going to pass because the preemptive bid has done its work. But you may raise if you think you may be able to make game. Now, we need to think about this one for just a minute, because if partner has made a preemptive bid, they do not have an opening hand. They've got less than 13 points. So if you have just an opening hand, that's not good enough. You're going to need to have more than an opening hand to be able to have a game, 25 or 26 points. So when my partner preempts, I usually just think to myself, they've got about 10 points. They might have 11 or 12. They might have 8 or 9. I just round off. That's about 10 points. I think to myself, I need 16 points to go with their 10. So unless I have that, I'm just going to pass. Now, if you have more cards in the suit, but a really weak hand, you know, they've opened 3 diamonds and you've got 3 or 4 diamonds yourself and no points, you might bid 4 diamonds. That's to really cut the opponents out. But you don't do that very often, and I wouldn't worry about it when you're just beginning. Just let it go. Your partner's preemptive bid has done its job. It took up space for them and it described their hand for you. So you don't need to do anything else. Just let it do its job. There's very unusual, but if you think there may be a game possible, but you're not sure where, you might bid a new suit, which is forcing just to see if partner has support for that suit. Like if partner has opened 3 diamonds and you have a really good hand and 5 hearts or spades, you might bid 3 hearts or spades. We would rather have a game in the major suit, hearts or spades, than thinking about trying to bid game in clubs or diamonds. That club or diamond long solid suit will be useful to us if we also have a fit in hearts or spades. So you might bid a new suit to see if your partner, and I would only bid if I have at least 5, where partner can have 3, because he's not likely to have 4 or more. We already said one of the criteria we said was if you have an outside major suit, don't do a preemptive bid. One other thing that can be done, it's a little bit advanced, but if you partner has opened 2 and you want more information about the hand, you can bid 2 no trump. 2 no trump him ask for him to bid a feature. That means, does he have an outside ace or king in his hand? He's already told you he's got a good suit. Does he have anything else in his hand? If he does, he will bid that suit, showing that he has an ace or a king maybe in the suit. If he doesn't have what's called a feature, he just rebids his suit. That's only over 2 no trump. Over 2 of preemptive bid. So don't worry about that a lot. That's a little bit advanced. Okay, let's look at some examples here of preemptive bidding. Let's look at the first one here. Okay, here is our hand. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 high card points, plus 2 for length because we have 6 hearts. So that's less than an opening hand. But we have a 6-card heart suit. Is that 6-card heart suit good enough to bid? Well, yes, we have 4 out of the top 5. We've got the king, queen, jack, 10. So we have both 2 of the top 3 and 3 of the top 5. So it's good enough suit to bid. We've got 6. We're less than an opening hand. So we're going to open this hand 2 hearts. 2 hearts. Let's look at this one. On this one, we've got 6, 7, 8 high card points. We've got 6 spades. We're less than an opening hand. We have 6 in the suit. Our question is the suit good enough? Well, we've got 2 of the top 3 with the ace queen. We've also got 3 of the top 5 with the ace queen jack. So yes, it's a good enough suit. So we will open this 2 spades. 2 spades. Let's look at this next one. Here we've got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 high card points, plus 2 for length. We've got 13 points. We've got a good heart suit that meets the criteria of 2 out of the top 3, or 3 out of the top 5. It's the ace king. It's 2 out of the top 3. And actually, we've got the 10, so we've got 3 out of the top 5. But we're too strong to open 2 hearts. We're going to open this 1 heart. We've got 13 points. We've got 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 2 for length and hearts. That's 13 points. That's an opening 1 heart bid. This next one, here we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 high card points plus 2 for length. That's 11. So we're short of an opening hand. We do have a 6-card heart suit. Is it a good enough heart suit? Well, we've got 3 of the top 5. We've got the king, jack, 10. We don't have 2 of the top 3, but that's okay when we've got 3 of the top 5. So king, jack, 10, it is good enough suit to bid. But with this hand, we would not bid 2 hearts. And there's 2 reasons we wouldn't bid 2 hearts on this hand. The first is that we've got 5 points outside our suit and only 4 points inside the suit. You see that we've got a king, queen outside, and we've got the king, jack inside the suit. We've got more points outside our suit than inside our suit. And usually we don't preempt if that's the case, because we've got more value to our hand than if we just bid 2 hearts. Partner would only expect hearts. The second thing is, remember we said it's not a good idea to do it if you have an outside 4-card major, because it's too easy to find the 4-4 fit then. So, which you might miss if you open 2 hearts. So for 2 reasons, on this hand number 4, we would just pass and let our partner, we hope, bid first. Now, if partner doesn't bid first, if the opponents bid first, if they say, if you pass, you'll pass the first bid, and then they bid a diamond, and maybe your partner passes, and they pass, the next person bids, then you can bid 1 heart if you want, or even 2 hearts if you really want to cut them out, although they're not bidding. There's no point in cutting them out. But or if it went 1 diamond, you pass, 1 diamond, pass, 1 spade, then you could bid 2 hearts. We'll talk about overcalls later, but you can get into the bidding. It's just to open at the 2 level or the 1 level, you would not do that. Let's look at this next one. Here we have 6 high card points plus 3 for length. So that's 9 points. We've got a 7-card suit this time. And does it a good enough suit to preempt with? Well, yes, it is. We've got 3 of the top 5. We've also got 2 of the top 3. So either way, we're good to go. It's a 7-card suit this time. So we bid at the 3 level to show 7 cards in the suit. We would open this hand 3 spades. 3 spades. Let's look at this next hand. Here we've got 7, 8 high card points, and we've got 8 cards in this suit. So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 extra points for having more than 4 in the suit. But we're still below opening hand. Is this suit good enough? Yes, we've got 3 of the top 5 and 2 of the top 3. So we're going to open this 4 hearts. 4 hearts showing 8 in the suit. Let's look at this one. Here we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 high card points plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 high card, 11 points valuation on this hand. We've got 8 in the suit, but a couple of things wrong here. First, we don't have 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5. We've got 1 of the top 3 and 2 of the top 5, but that's not good enough. The second thing is we've got 5 cards outside of the suit, even though this king is probably not worth much. It might or might not be. So anyway, this hand will just pass. Just pass. You don't get 8 cards in a suit very much, but you have to have a good suit to make it worthwhile. And then the last thing is this one. Here we've got 5, 6, plus 4 is 10 high card points, plus 3 for length. This is a good, we've got 7 in the suit. It's a good suit, but we've got opening hand. So we're not going to preempt this hand. We're going to bid 1 heart with this hand. Okay, so that's it for preemptive bidding. By the way, preemptive bidding, you could be starting out the bidding. You could be the first one to bid, or somebody else could have opened 1 diamond, and you can preempt 3 hearts. Your bid has the same meaning, no matter which one you do, as long as you jump up to where you want to go. All right, guys, that's it for today. At our class this week, we're going to be talking about overcalls, having the opponents come into the bidding while you're bidding. All right. That's it for today. Hope to see you guys. Hope to see you guys all on Wednesday. Bye-bye.